Hey CDA, and welcome to this new series on Ixion. Ixion is a city builder in space with a lot of survival elements to it. The best comparison is probably Frostpunk, but on a space station and with more story elements to it that you will need to prepare for and react to. Now, if you got scared away by the initial reviews on this game stating it was too hard, good news, there is now an easier setting. There's also a challenge setting for those of you that really want to see the world burn, but I'll base this series for now on the intended default difficulty. Before starting this series, I asked you guys whether or not you wanted to see just the building part, or if you also wanted to see the story elements to this series, because it's a very story-driven game, and you guys massively voted in favor of seeing everything. Now I am going to show you everything, at least everything that I do in this playthrough, but I'm going to make an exception for this video because it's like 3 minutes long or something like that, and nothing really happens other than a space shuttle being launched and arriving at the space station we'll be calling our home. Once you arrive at the space station and you get into an area where you have a couple of people talking to you, they don't really explain anything of interest to you, so I'm going to skip through most of the dialogue. There we go. So Ixion is a city builder, kind of like Frostpunk, like I said before, and it has an additional challenge because we actually don't have that much room to build. We have all these raw materials lying around, no one bothered to clean up, so we'll have to take care of that. It's one of the first things we do. There's resources. You can see that at the top, this is whatever we have stored in the top line, and then on the bottom it says how much we have in our system. So you can see we don't have a lot going on because it's all on the floor. We have a population, we need to manage our power over here, we need to make sure the ship doesn't fall apart or the station doesn't fall apart, and we need to make sure our people trust in us. If this ever falls too low, we're going to have major trouble. To see how we're doing, you can check this thing down over here. So we get some nice buffs to sector stability. We also can see how much people we have available for us to work and how many we actually put to work. And of course we have the building menus that kind of all speak for themselves. It's also worth noting that we can actually look at the outside of our space station as well, and we'll be able to build stuff here as well. And of course we also have the overview for our sector. There's a couple of things to explore, but we'll get to that in a moment. First things first, we need to get our base up and running, and in order to do that we're going to go to the build menu and we are going to place down a workshop that will actually build all our buildings, and we'll have a couple of stockpiles where we can store all the stuff that is currently lying on the floor. Now we have a pretty minimal building area, so we need to be a bit efficient. Let's remove at least part of this road over here. There we go. And I think we should be able to stick a workshop in there, like so. And then we can build a bit of road as well. You can see this connecting part. This actually connects to a different sector, so we'll be able to expand our building area in a bit. And let's build a little stockpile over there. And then if we unpause, we should hopefully see a little robot here starting to build. And that will also make sure that we have our stockpile going on. Now we can only store one thing in a stockpile. We're going to stock alloys there first. Then we're going to collect these things so we get them off the floor. We're also going to need some housing for our people, so let's start kind of fitting these in here. I think that should fit nicely, and then let's have a road like this at least, so we know we can always easily access all of these connections to the other sector. Now we'll need more housing than this, but at least we're now collecting this stuff off the floor, and we can build that into the houses straight away, and then we can start collecting more and more of this stuff, so we basically are clearing out and as well using the space at the same time. Now you can see the little robots driving up and down. There's 5 connected to each storage unit, so initially we will need to build a little bit more than this to actually fit everything in here. Now in order to finish all of this housing as well as a few more stockpiles, we are actually going to need more raw materials, and we can connect these off the floor by simply connecting all of these roads together. This is just a very temporary road systems, just to make sure we can actually reach all of this stuff and get it off the floor. We do actually need to connect all of this up, otherwise it won't connect. Honestly, we might as well just do something like this. This will take a while to build, but at least then our little robots have something to do. We'll also need to deal with some events like this. So apparently people are worried they have no way to actually get fed, so they want a mess hall. And I think we can arrange for that. Let's see if we actually have the room for that. If you commit to something like this and you don't actually do it, you're going to have a problem. So make sure that whenever you accept that, you do it. But I know, like, feeding our people seems quite essential. So that shouldn't be too much of a hassle. This fits quite nicely in with the buildings we already have. And while we're at it, actually, let's build an infirmary as well. That will just make sure if someone gets sick, we have a way to deal with that. There we go. So we get a nice little residential area over here. And that also makes sure we can actually use all of these stockpiles of resources that we have on the floor. It's worth noting that you can actually prioritize what is getting built in which order by setting it to high priority or just pausing it in case you did place something down just to plan out, but you don't actually want it to be built right away. We also have this nice docking bay over here where we can build some ships, and the first thing we're going to need is a science ship as well as a cargo ship. The science ship will help us explore everything on the map over here, and the cargo ship is able to actually transport back whatever we find. We also have the Urshanabi over here. This is actually going to provide us with some food because we're not producing any, so we do need to feed our people. And basically, the cargo ship will be able to drive back and forth between this ship and ours to make sure we don't die from starvation. Now we have covered the food for our people. They're apparently worried they have no place to stay, so they want us to make sure they're all quartered. Now, considering we're already building all of these quarters, we actually only have to build this last one. That should not be a problem, so I like easy quests. The nice thing about these spaceships is that they're actually built inside of the dock, and you can actually see them going in and out when they arrive and when they leave, so that's a really nice detail. We're also, we finished all of the housing. We have some additional storage for polymers as well as food now, so we can actually, well, stock that somewhere and get it off the floor, and that should allow us to clear everything else. I do like that we are very efficient about this layout so far, so we shouldn't have too much issue keeping everything neat and organized. I mean, you do have a very limited amount of space, so it's kind of like playing Tetris in a way. All of this, the road will be removed, of course, as we're expanding, but for now it's still there to make sure we can actually reach everything. Once the spaceship is ready, we'll be able to send it out onto the galaxy. There is one last building that we haven't actually built yet, so let's clear out some road over here, like so. And the building I'm talking about is this one, the Tech Lab. This is where we do our science. It's a huge building, so you can see the space fills up quite quickly, but we need that in order to get any technology. Speaking of technology, our science ship is almost good to go, and that means we should be able to send it out to explore the universe quite quickly. So I really like the launching, like, cinematic that you get from this. And if we now go to the planetary map system, yep, there we go, we can send our ship to the moon. Once at the moon, we can now interact with this event and we get some choices. So we found an abandoned base. The base is out of commission and auxiliary systems are operational and could be used to restore power. We have reached the UN base and it is abandoned and depressurized. The surveillance system is still operational, awaiting orders. Now, different choices will give you different rewards. In this case, I am going to exploit the security vulnerability before we dismantle the base. Sometimes you can pick all of them, sometimes you can only pick one. It really depends on the event, and, well, unless you try it out, you won't know what you get, so choose carefully. Now in this case, when we complete the event, we'll get a message. We hacked into the main computer systems as you ordered and retrieved several relevant research papers and data sets, giving us a little bit of science, not much, but hey, it's the tiny bits that matter. Now we can still dismantle the base, so we'll go on and do that. Now, if you actually want to make use of the science ships needs to be in orbit, and it will just collect it while idling or doing nothing around the planet. In this case, because we immediately send it to do something else, this will actually sit here for a little while we wait for that. However, we also have some food waiting for us at the Urshanabi, the supply ship, and we can pick that up because we now also have a cargo ship. Setting this to food in this case allows us to pick it up, but of course, since we only have one ship, we might just as well enable everything just in case anything pops up that we want to bring to our station. There we go, we can see the little ship going to the Urshanabi and it will return back. And this is the really cool thing I think about this overview. You can actually see where your ships are at and you can see them fly up and down and stuff like that. It's a small little detail, but it's nice. In the meanwhile, our interior is shaping up quite nicely. We've cleared out most of the stockpiles over here. I'm actually thinking if we should build another one of these just so we can clear out a little bit more alloy. We are going to spend pretty much everything of it soon anyway, so actually I'm just going to leave it for now. And we now dismantled the base, we get some alloy, yeah, that's exactly what we needed, but we mainly get a lot of science, so that means we have 100 science now in the orbit over here, which means if we now go to the interior and we go to the tech lab, it produces a little bit of science, but it takes forever, so that doesn't really count. You can see we have a lot of stuff already unlocked, that's not really all that helpful, but we are definitely going to need an EVA. Maybe a probe launcher first so we can actually explore the system a little bit. Then we are going to set this to research. We can probably queue this up as well because we are going to need it. No, that's not queuing up, I think. Let's do it like this. Because we're going to need everything anyway, but let's start with the probe launcher. With the probe launcher unlocked, we can now build it, and again, it's a really large building. Kind of want to place it here, but this thing is in the way which we still need to clear out. We can't actually place it right next to here because you're not allowed to put anything in front of the sector sign. Honestly, we might as well just put it here. For no apparent reason other than that it's out of the way. It's not like it's a high throughput type of item anyway. Yeah, I think that will do. Of course, we do need to make sure we actually connect the road to it. And in this case, there's this little building in the way. We'll fix it in a moment as soon as we have cleared this out. But for now, we'll just need to do it the long way. This also means we can now start research on the EVA airlock, which will allow us to build things on the outside, I should say, of the space station. So that's really nice and cool. And you can actually see the things that you build outside as well, as you'll see in a moment. Now, because we fed all the people, we actually already get a mission to build the Vol engine, in order for which we actually need the EVA airlock, but we are not quite done yet, because I'm gonna send my ship to Saturn. We also want to visit Mars, and when we get the probe unit up and running, we can also see if we can explore anything in this system before we leave. Okay, Maxwell, let's see what we can find at Saturn. A signature trace from an EKP system has been detected near Saturn. EKP technology is the exclusive property of Dolos, but records indicate that the company has not deployed any missions to this sector. Mysterious. The signature will soon enter the atmosphere of Saturn. What do we do? Do we send a team to investigate or attempt to locate debris in orbit? No idea which one is going to be best, but let's send a team. And thanks to building the probe launcher, we cleared out some resources, so we can actually clear out most of the stacks on the map now. And that should be finished once we complete building the EVA airlock, which we also have unlocked. And just to keep things a little bit symmetric, let's build that over here. And of course, we do need to make sure there's a road going there. A little bit of wasted space here in the corner, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be a huge deal. We might as well just stack up this road building already because we know it's going to be there anyway. Having completed the probe launcher, we now get another event popping up. Reports are being received relating to the Barja Vehicle Claim optimization protocols on board the Tikkun. They indicate that crew members are being overworked. Oh no! Although Dolos employment contracts make it clear that a high degree of flexibility is required, this situation is beginning to take its toll on morale. It would be pragmatic to deploy additional crew members or reduce the number of concurrently active workplaces. Well, we're not going to do that, so let's request additional staff from the Urshanabi. Now, if we're going to bring in more people, we are going to need more houses. I'm not entirely sure how we lost a couple of people, but we did. But we're definitely going to need more houses if we are going to bring in more. Let's see, so if we build a road like this and like this, this should cover the extra 20 people that we have coming in, with the benefit being that we also can clear out a little bit more of that alloy that we still have around our base. Which one should we take next? Probably this one. And our science ship is ready as well. Let's see what we found at the dark side of Saturn. A prototype rocket sent by the UN seems to use a variation of EKP. We have stripped it down and recovered schematics. Yay, 10 more science. Well, there is nothing more to do at Saturn, so let's move all the way over to Mars. And in the meanwhile, let's check out our probes. We can't actually send it out yet, and that is because we haven't built any, so let's do that. In the meanwhile, we also actually unlocked a new tech, which is the insect farm, which means we can now grow our own food. Not entirely sure what to go for next. This all requires us to have raw materials, which we don't have. This requires us to have people in cryonic pods, which we don't. And this, well, will give us some additional stability, which is always nice, but we are not really lacking on that. So I guess we'll just go for the batteries that will allow us to store some power. Having backup power in space seems like a pretty good idea to me. Now, focusing for a moment, not on that, but on the food, I want to build some insect farms. So how much do we need? If we look at the mess hall, it actually tells us how much food we need. I really like that about this game. We don't have to do too much math in order to figure out the ratios. We need 10 food to feed all 99 crew members in the sector. A meal is served every 5 cycles. And apparently we are now out of power. This is where batteries come in. I think that is because we just completed another building. I like how she's kind of slurring her words. I turned down the voices a little bit because otherwise it's going to be annoying for you to listen to. But yeah, let's see. Let's pause the game for a moment. Let's turn off the probe launcher because we don't actually need it, and that should put us back into the green zone again in terms of power, but we definitely do need to get ourselves some more power, and we can get that by making sure we get the EVA airlock online. Now, I was talking about food there before we got rudely interrupted. Let's see. We need 10 food for 99 every 5 cycles, so that means we need 2 food per cycle in production in order to be self-sufficient, which means we need how many of these? They produce 1 food after 1 cycle, so 2 insect farms should feed all our people for now, and that means we probably want 3 just to be on the safe side and actually stockpile some, because again, we're in space, the game is very clear, space is a bad place to be, so yeah, we are going to need some more food. Let's clear out these roads. Can we stick in some insect farms over here? How large are these things? Pretty large. But this should work nicely. And then of course we need a road in front of there as well. And let's see. We should probably turn these off until we actually need them, but we can have them built in the meanwhile nonetheless. It is Red Planet time. Let's see what there is to discover here. The UN has established a facility on Mars. Its crew are currently lacking the materials required to repair a critical fault in their oxygen supply systems. They have submitted an official request for Dolos to aid. We can repair the fault in exchange for resources or research data or refuse to help. Research data sounds pretty attractive. I like my tech, so let's go for that one. And that means we need to assign a cargo ship to actually bring that, but it's not doing anything anyway, so that's not a problem. And then we should see our little cargo ship on its way to their station pretty soon. And we are once again out of power. Well, we'll need this online to actually restore the power, so let's turn off our tech center for a moment. That should fix that problem. And then if we go here, we can set some external construction. So let's see, we can build ourselves some solar panels, which seems like a very good idea. And that will give us 40 more power, and that will stop the hill repair, but it's at 100% anyway. We can actually build 2 sets of solar panels as well, and we're going to need all of them probably, so might as well do that. And while that is working, what else can we do? Let's check in here actually. We do have some science from the event, but that's not really a priority. How much power does it cost to turn the probe launcher on? Just 1. What can I turn off? Can I turn off this crew quarters? Does that work? No, because it wasn't actually built yet. let's see, we can actually turn off the stockpile for a moment while we turn this on, so we can actually build a probe and start exploring. Okay, there we go. We have a probe now. So let's see what we can find. We can launch a probe and we can kind of... Oh, there we go. We can kind of scan around to see what we can find. If we go here, we are pretty much certain to find an event. And again, you can actually see the probes going out. There's our cargo ship delivering the requested materials to Mars. I really like this whole activity going on. But other than that, let's see what else is going on. Not really all that much. We are constructing the solar panels, so we'll just have to wait for a moment until we can turn everything back on. There we go, we have the first set of solar panels up and running, and that means we now have all the power we need, so we can actually turn on the insect farms as well and start gathering some food. Is our tech lab up and running yet? Nope, but it is now. Anything else I forgot to turn on? I don't... Oh, actually, yes. This stockpile over here, so we can actually clean out everything that we have left. Yeah, we can turn this one on as well, and then we have plenty of food in production for the people that we currently have. Now, if you're wondering about this signal, this is currently purging waste. Some buildings actually produce waste, and they need to clear it out and basically stop functioning for a little while. The oxygen supply system has been repaired, yay! And the relationship between Dodos and our competitor has improved by 42%, that's very exact. But anyway, we get some science, and that is always cool. Anything else to do at Mars? No, other than just waiting until we collect the science. But then we can move to this unauthorized access event. While the science ship is going in the direction of our last event, I did try to actually find anything else, but there's nothing else on the map that I could find. We are going to build our Vol engine, and that will allow us to actually leave the system and conclude the tutorial. Now, how do I do that again? Oh yeah, of course I need to build it in the EVA airlock. So let's go there. Go to engines and external systems and build ourselves. We already have the EQP engine. Let's build ourselves the Vol engine. 100 alloy is quite a bit, but I think we're still good on that. Yeah, we have plenty. Well, not plenty, but we have enough. Let's put it like that. And that will take a while to build, so that should give us the time to conclude the last event that we have on the map. Warning! By proceeding beyond this point, you are breaching the terms of your contract with Dolos AC. Further actions can and will result in summary dismissal. Is this a lose the game type of event? Probably not. So we're just going to poke. We are going to create temporary easement and contact the station Outer Hope. Let's see what happens. This is Marduk Council member Arabia Neocont. You are not authorized to interface with Outer Hope. The purpose of this facility is to allow Dolos to continue with the development of its most highly classified projects, far away from the prying eyes of our competitors and the media of Earth. Do you not realize that the whole world is watching you at this moment? And that your presence here could jeopardize this entire operation. I will be filing an official complaint with the vendor himself, unless perhaps you can do something for me that might change my mind. Interesting. What do you want us to do? Send you some stuff to help out? Or refuse the deal? Well, council members on my side can't hurt, right? So let's bribe them. Sounds good. That will give us something to do for our cargo ship. Look, there we go. Thank you, administrator. Now leave. I will ensure that Dolos issues a public statement that rationalizes our contact here at the edge of the solar system. I'll placate Fenner for now, but you'll need to explain your actions in due course. You might have heard we're working on the next iteration of the Tikkun, the Protagoras. The Tikkun operation must succeed if we are to achieve our goal of bringing humanity into a new era. Trust in genetic conatus? What is conatus? Someone in the comments explain that to me. Anyway, our self-similar space will reveal the pattern, and we actually get some electronics that we didn't have before. So I think going for this kind of secret event works out, because you can completely skip this, as far as I know, in the tutorial if you don't find it or don't launch a probe. Anyway, and this will have our little cargo ship bring it back, and in the meanwhile I've been working on cleaning out the area. Oh nice, because we did so well we actually get some new crew members and food supplies from the Urshanabi, and that's a lot of people. 100 new people. We are going to have to build some more of these, what are these called? Crew quarters, because yep, we will definitely need more. So how much space do we have? We can see that over here, I believe. And we need 80 more, so that is 5 or technically 6 of these buildings once more. We might as well put them in here in the front of the sector sign, I believe, and make ourselves a little hub. Let's see if that fits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Nice. There we go. That will take most of our remaining resources, actually, so I'm not entirely happy about that, but that's what we need to do. So everyone's on board, and now we have 200 people. We actually need slightly more food than we're producing. So before we actually go and move our ship to the moon, we just want to play safe and make sure that nothing happens that we can't handle. And this should make sure we have exactly enough food in production to cover all our basic needs. We have enough workers for that as well. And in the meanwhile, while this is being constructed, we can start moving our ship to the moon, because that is where we're going to launch from. Now, that does mean that all the power will temporarily drop. That's not a problem. Ah, look at our space station moving. Nice little cinematic. Small detail, if you look at the outside of your station while you are flying, you can actually see it flying. So that's a nice detail. And whoop, we are now arriving at the moon. Alright, we've built everything that there is to build currently, basically completing the tutorial. We explored all the events and we're now in position around the moon to start up our engine. If you want to see the nice cinematic that happens when you do that, make sure you join me for the next episode. If you're still here, you're awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I hope to catch you in the next one.